noodles are great for floating in the lake, but the problem is GM used them as the blueprint for the G-body frame. And these plates from Trick Chassis are how we're going to fix that rigidity issue. Step 1 is to unbolt everything that's bolted to the frame along one side. I'm starting on the passenger side, so all the body mount bolts got to come out. Now usually when you say break the body bolts free, that inspires fear into most gearheads' heart. But luckily I had changed the body bushings on this car several years ago, before my YouTube days. I never seized every last one of those bolts, and they're coming out just fine with my 3/8 impact. That shouldn't have gone that way, but it did. Well, if you ever see any wowies along your frame, use the adjustable wrench.
The adjustable hammer.
That's right, like Riker says, the adjustable hammer, and just give it a tweak. You will be very surprised, wow, that's a tear, how easily, see, it's now a hammer. You'll be surprised how easily the frame moves. Now, seeing that, I've got a little bit of frame repair to do. Good thing we're going to be doing some welding. So after taking the body bushings out, I actually had to build a thingy to push the rocker panels up so that way I would lift the whole body. And then I slid a couple of 2x4s up there above the body mount so that way I don't drop anything on my hands should something shift. So what I wound up doing is I took the frame bracing panel that was part of the kit, and I would just set it up in here, 1 second, and just start figuring out where it was touching and where it wasn't touching. And I would slide a big crescent wrench in there, just a little bit over the frame, and start tweaking and bending it. Got everything squared up. Now, this is where it gets weird. The kit itself comes with a big old camel hump here where the body bushing is supposed to be, but this sticks outward towards their inward, and it doesn't work. So I actually had to open up this slot and to make it fit in there. So now what I have is a frame that is straight, and I have a cutout for the body bushing. But before I go welding this thing in, let's do a couple more modifications. Think about the number of times you have fuel lines or battery cables or stuff that's bolted to the frame. That's pretty common. So let's drill some holes and put a whole bunch of riv nuts in these. I've got this marked off every 6 inches, about halfway up. I'm gonna put a 1/4 riv nut in there because I don't know what the future holds, and being able to fasten stuff to the frame is pretty cool. So if you've never used one, it's a little rivet with threads up the middle, great for putting into things like sheet metals and panels and stuff and being able to bolt stuff to it. So with your application riveter tool, you open up the wings, you thread this little guy on till it seats against the side, you set it down in the middle, and you squeeze. And just like that, you got a rivet. It's all smooshed out on the backside like it's supposed to. Whoop. So now we're going to do this a bunch more times. Then when you're done, 1/4 bolt. Someone put a metric bolt in my 1/4. Now a real 1/4, I promise. Threads right in like it's supposed to. You can put clamps for, my thinking is fuel rail or fuel lines, battery cables, that kind of stuff. Be able to bolt it to this panel and have a nice, easy place to bolt stuff to. Well, easy if the floor pan weren't in the way. Well, I did a little bit of off-camera work and I got this tacked into place. I cleaned up all the edges because when you have laser cut edges, oftentimes they're full of contaminants. I just didn't want that. I mean, like I should be worried given the 40-year-old GM frame, but at least I tried, right? So I've got everything tacked in, and I'm going to go through and stitch weld sections, probably every 2 or 3 inches or so, probably section, section, section. These are a little far apart, but I'll get there. And I'm just going to start stitching this thing in. I'm going to get going, start welding, and we'll have some fun here in a few. All right, it is stitched into place. I am happy with it. I'm going to throw some black paint on it and just call it good for now. I recognize I still have some stuff down there that would be worth doing, but for the short term, it's better than it was, and I'm just going to throw some paint on it and start getting it back together. At least get the body set back down because it is unhappy being cranked up like this. In a minorly unfun turn of events, it turns out that the bolt that holds the seatbelt down was actually getting in the way and wasn't letting the body sit down on the frame completely. So I had to back it out. Now, I was trying to avoid taking the seat out, and the right way to do it is to, you guessed it, take the seat out. So the good news is I backed it off a couple of threads, and The body now sits down like it's supposed to. Watch. The door closes, the jack is free, but that seatbelt bolt is in the way. I'll worry about that later. Let's start moving towards the other side. So before I go putting these back in, I'm going to get these threads all cleaned up with a thread chaser. Thread chasers are great because they don't cut any extra material. They clean up what's there. So I'm going to go clean these up. And also, if you need a thread chaser, I've got a really good set linked in the description of this video. Check that out. And now for an unfun part. I'm going to start getting all the body bushings put back in. This is an incredibly fiddly little process where it's adjust, 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 and hope I get it right. So I'll check back in a little bit once I get these zipped in. And yes, I'm consulting the torque specs. Everything gets torqued down to 52 foot-pounds of torque. So 52, here we come, all the body bolts. And with that passenger side done, it's pretty well time to start on the driver's side. Same thing as before. I'm going to restrain the suspension so that way as I lift the body, it doesn't unload the suspension and the frame move on me. So, you know, we're just going to slide the ratchet strap, ouch, under this block, if it'll go under. Haha. Nope. One more try. Come on. Wah! Haha, I got it. You know the funny thing about working on a race car, drag car specifically? All the tire shreds. Ah well, rubberized undercoating, right? And just time to pop the body bushings, bolts out. One, make sure you grab the bushing piece, goes with it. Come on, you can do it. Good bushing. There's two. Watch for flying parts. This one's going to take some work to get all the stuff out of the way. We'll worry about that in a minute once we get the body lifted up. I'm not going to worry too much about it right now. All right, this side I got a little bit more junk in the way. I got the e-brake cable. I got the transmission speedometer cable, which isn't being used. My fuel return line. My flamethrower wiring, which is got to get moved. And I may just have to clip it up here at the front, and we'll deal with it later because it's just wire and I can adjust it. You know, I kind of like that idea. Where's my wire cutters? Oh, here they are. All right, flamethrowers, you're fun, but we'll catch you later. Ta-da! And yes, the flamethrowers will be coming back sometime. And now for my favorite part. Time to start straightening the frame. Man, it blows me away how easy this metal just moves. After I straighten out some of the major wowies, I'm going to start getting the frame boxing panel in here and just seeing how it fits. Once it fits nice, then I clean it all up and get ready to weld it in. That looks pretty sensible right there. A little bit of that, a little bit of that. I may clean up some of these welds and just weld them all in good and tight. You know, while you're under here, you just stick stuff together. All right, after laying on my back for a while and wrenching on the frame, I've got it pretty well sitting down. Now, this little bump right here, I'm not entirely sure why Trick Chassis put that in there, but what I'm going to do is cut it off at the top, like level with the rest of the frame box, and then also put an angle out on this, just like the other side. I was getting ready to weld this in, and I realized I hadn't even put the little riv nuts in it, so that way I can mount stuff to the frame rail. So that's what I'm doing, just like the other side. Every 6 inches, probably overkill, but you know something? I'd rather have options and not use them than leave myself hanging, you know? All right, given the way things are, I'm happy with it. I think there's the only thing left to do is just to start sticking it together, so let's make that happen. That's getting a little warm. Oh, fire, 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 fire. All right, well, that was exciting. Too bad the camera's battery died while it happened. I don't know where the battery died or how much I actually got, but it was getting warm on my right arm, and I'm like, boy, that's a little strange. Lift up the hood, and it's like, whoa, that's a lot of fire. So I caught my carpet on fire. Oh, well. Just like the other side, I'm going to clean up the hardware. And it's worth noting that some of these bear the signs of years of use. just given how those have corroded away from an era where this was more of a driver car than race car. Except for that bolt that's on the floor. We can't blame that one for trying to run away. Or that one. Alrighty, you can see why I've put those things every 6 inches, and you can also see why Eric should never be trusted with a spray can. He's impatient. All that is yellow from the Sawzall blade that I used to cut the seatbelt bracket bolt. Because, you know, that needed to be done. So, first and foremost, we're going to work on getting the single hardest body bushing together. And to do that, I'm going to slide everything in and get this thing set up in place. And with a teeny tiny bit of luck, it'll go together like it needs to. And also, I'm going to, give a good healthy dose of anti-seize because I know the next guy that's going to be pulling this off is probably me. If it's not me, I'm going to be very surprised. Where did I put that big washer? Oh, there it is. Perfect. You can see how the frame boxing adds a layer of complexity to this process, but is going to make the car many, many times more rigid. Hey, look at that. That just went right in. That almost never happens. I'm not worried about hammering on that pretty hard because the torque spec on these is 52 foot-pounds. It's kind of a lot in my mind. Anyways, now that that single hardest one is done, let's move over here to this guy and get that one done. That's odd. Looks like I'm going to have to grab the jack for a second. Sweet. So now we can set the jack down and not get crushed today. The core support bushing is done. I had to go get help because it takes too many hands to do this and I can't reach that far around. All right, and here's the one back by the exhaust. Let's see here. The really crusty ones were the ones behind the rear axle, so that's fine. They can go back there. I got the bushing, I got the washer, I got the impact. Let's slide this guy up into place. All right, the washer was out of alignment. I fixed that with a screwdriver. Okay, there's that one. 2 more. All right, here's the second to last one. Getting all the hardware. Got the 2 bolts right here. Got a dose of anti-seize. Here we go. 1, 2, here we go. Oh, that's right. I gotta snake stuff around that frame brace piece there, don't I? Yes, I do. Oh, that's a happy sound. That sounds like I hit it. Let's do this last one over here while it's loose and easy to get to. A little bit of never seize. Got the never seize. I got the never seize. Woo! That one bit also. That's a good thing. Let's, here we go. Yay! Yay! Okay, and now to grab the torque wrench and see how close to 50 foot-pounds all of these can get. If it feels like they're going to break, I'm going to stop. All right. So the other side, I used my son's Lexivon torque wrench. Thank you, Lexivon. This is my Craftsman. I'm just curious to see how it feels any different. I think the Lexivon ratchet's better. Woohoo! Yep, the Lexivon has a more authoritative clack-clack. Come on. 50's got to be getting close. There it is. Holy cow. Well, to go forward and tighten all those. Man, it smells like someone set their carpet on fire over here. Wonder who that could be. 50. Wow. Any of you guys ever just shimmy along the floor because it seems easier than getting up and moving the next couple of feet? I'll openly admit, I'm getting tired. It's been a long day. All right, here we go. 52 foot-pounds. Yep, 52 foot-pounds. Sweet. They're torqued. And while I'm here, I'm just going to take off the tie-down straps that's holding the suspension compressed. The whole purpose of this was so that way it didn't, So that way the frame didn't move with them when I lifted the body up, because the body's got a lot of weight, probably most of it, to be honest. So that's unrestrained. I'm going to grab the back one, and we'll fish those tie downs out. I know I've got a few things to take care of before I can get on the ground, but I need to get some parts before I can, do that step. All right, now we got to do the thing. Does the door open and close? Opens nice. Ha-ha! I'm gonna call that a huge win. The frame boxing part is done. Yeah, I've got some tidying up to do, but I was reading online that this isn't possible with the body on the car. Guess what? It is. It just takes a suitable level of crazy. Thanks for watching. If you want to see the rear suspension build that basically turned this frame boxing into a necessity, check it out over here. I know you'll like that one too. Man, that was a messy job. I gotta go get a shower now.